Hello everybody, it's me, Nate, aka Devil Dog, and I'm back with another game review. I'm finally doing it. Here's my review of Cronos, The New Dawn. It was developed and published by Bloober team and released on September 5th of 2025 on the Xbox Series X and S, the PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch 2, and PC. It is a survival horror game set in a third-person perspective where you play as the Traveler, who awakes their slumber and goes out to finish what the previous group were doing, to finish what's known as the Vocation. As you travel through a post-apocalyptic wasteland using different weapons, including your standard issue pistols, shotguns, and also the ability of fire that you use to burn off enemies known as the Orphans. Now, the one thing I have to point out about this game is, yes, it is a Bloober team game, and I'm surprised to say, once again, this is a pretty good quality game. It really is. But one thing I point out, it's the main draw with this has to be the enemies. The enemies, while they are designed where they look really vicious and are cool, like very, very neat looking creatures from like the movie The Thing, they have this one mechanic which I absolutely hate, which makes this game even more mature, and it's when they merge together with other dead enemies. Because if you don't go and burn the corpses of all the other dead enemies, one of these enemies can merge with them and become an uber red-headed monster. Just, it's a nightmare to deal with these guys. It really is. And they really don't give you enough ability to actually burn stuff. I mean, you have such limited inventory space that this is another one of them survival horror games that is mainly difficult due to the lack of items that you collect through it. I mean, really, it is. Gameplay consists of you running around these areas, searching, solving puzzles, which really aren't that difficult to do, fortunately. If you come to a lock or something, normally the answer of it is close nearby, so you actually can figure out how to solve these puzzles. They're not like insanely over the top ones like Silent Hill F's. So this can actually be done quite easily. The only problem is the damn enemies. They have way too many enemies. They're way too strong, and the amount of ammunition you have is so scarce that that's what makes this game difficult. The game itself is difficult only because of the overall damage these enemies take and the ability how you can charge up attack shots by holding the button to charge up to make more of a powerful shot is great, but these enemies don't give you enough chance to be able to pull that off. It really is quite difficult. And while these levels are vast, most of them are maze-like. They are like, paths that lead you to an area where enemies will jump out and attack you, and you have to fight them. And if you think, okay, I'll just run from these enemies, you can run from them, but there's very few spots where these enemies will not keep running and chasing after you. There's only a couple areas where you go into another inside of a building or something where these enemies will stop coming after you. In fact, it's really kind of messed up. You can actually just see them chilling outside, drinking some Pabst Blue Ribbon, talking with the other enemies. Hey man, so how'd you do with the wife last night, Steve? Oh, that's great. Did he come out of the building yet, Steve? No, he's right there. Hey, how you doing, man? We're going to kill you as soon as you come out, just so you know. And it does feel like that. It really does. Like I said, as for upgrades, fortunately, you can upgrade your character through this by collecting what is known as cores. Now, these you normally get when you reach a milestone in the game's story, like certain areas you reach. And if you go off the beaten path and search in hidden areas, you can find extra cores. Now, these are used to upgrade your abilities. Basically, your suit allowing you extra inventory slots, which hands down, I think is the most needed thing in this game is the inventory slots. Also, you could use it to upgrade your weapons to make them where they handle better, they charge faster, and then they can hold more ammo. And that, once you get going and you're able to level up your character enough, then the game becomes a little bit more playable, but it's still insanely difficult. I mean, like I said, limited item slots, limited items to collect, and these weapons combined with these enemies that honestly are just a pain in the ass. And the bosses, my God, I swear. Fortunately, it does have a fairly decent auto-save system, but I have had several parts where you lose to a boss, and then I have to leave this area, I have to go through this elevator, I have to go through this area to get back to where the boss was to try to fight the boss again. Now, fortunately, the enemies along the way stay dead, so I do appreciate that. And along the way, you'll find these safe rooms, basically, where you can go to heal yourself. You can go, there's an inventory drop box. So if you happen to have extra items, you can save them in the inventory drop box. That's also where you can pick up the little flame thing, the flamethrower, which is like one-time use each time, which that right there is the biggest no-no with this game. Is one of the main mechanics that you need to do is burn these enemies' bodies to keep from them merging or coming back. And you're limited to like maybe one, unless you trick the game and allowing you to carry more than one of these little fire pods, as I'm going to call them. It's archaic. The enemy bosses are very, very uniquely difficult. They'll put you in an area, fortunately, like they'll say, okay, this enemy is weak to fire. And they'll fortunately have a bunch of exploding barrels in this area, but they don't tell you that this boss can teleport. They also don't tell you that they can basically do a one-hit slap kill to you. And honestly, the game is, to me, frustratingly difficult. It's not fun, but that's my own personal mind on it. So I'm going to try to give you some pros and cons with this game. First of all, the pros, the graphics, it does look very, very good. The enemy design, like I said, they look straight out of something from John Carpenter's The Thing, which the enemies look cool. They're sick, they're twisted. The sound is really well done, and the way the levels look is actually very appealing. It is a nice post-apocalyptic world you go through, and visually it does look very, very nice. But I have to point out, the overall difficulty in this game, it doesn't allow you to change the difficulty. This is a one and done game. You can make it harder if you want, but you can't make it any easier. And this game will stomp your face in over its difficulty. You need to memorize and know where every enemy is, know how to not trigger them and the same ammo, and how to figure out which and when to use your charge attacks on certain enemies. Naturally, it's like Resident Evil, where they'll have bulbs that grow out of them, so they're invincible only until you burn them, and then the bulb will pop out, and then you have to shoot the bulb. So, like I said, once you figure the game out, it's still very, very challenging and difficult, but it is playable. But I just really didn't have fun with it. And like I said, the difficulty's too high. The enemies, when they merge, it's just a pain in the ass. The layout of the levels is one of the biggest flaws in this. While it looks like this big, open, grand adventure, it's not. It's very, very maze-like with the paths that you take. And as you go through an area, it'll open up a back path that takes you back to where you came from, so you can progress the story throughout the area. And as for the story, man, they take a handful of feces and throw it at the wall and hope it sticks on this one. The story is convoluted, it's archaic, it's way too much detail. To really understand this story, you have to collect all the notes and read them to really know what the hell is going on, to figure out what the vocation is, why you are pretty much dumped into this, the traveler, as they call them. Honestly, the more I play this game, the more I have to say. This is basically if Bloober Team took the actual designs of Silent Hill 2 Remake, put it in a post-apocalyptic Fallout world, and made it look like Dead Space. I'm sorry, but that's what I get from this. This comes off as a Silent Hill 2 set in Fallout universe with a character that is obviously a ripoff of Dead Space. The only thing this game is missing is some sort of weapon that cuts the limbs off of the monsters. That's really the only difference I had with this. Because the indoor levels, they look fantastic, but you're looking like, dude, this looks just like Silent Hill 2 Remake. It really does. The grit, the grime, the dirt, the dust, it looks like Silent Hill Remake. And like I said, the post-apocalyptic world is obviously a Fallout. And my God, the gameplay itself, it's structured and it plays so much like Dead Space. It really, really does. Now, one thing I can point out about this game that is decent is it is a rather hefty game, roughly about 15 to 20 hours long. It took me a little like 18, 19 hours to get through this because I kept dying. And I was frustrated with this game, but I did find myself willing to keep trying to make it farther and farther and farther through the game. So it's not one of those games where it's just like so frustrating you say, fuck this, I give up. I never gave up with it, but it was very, very challenging, and I think it's because it's just not designed that well. They designed it to be this very specific amount of difficulty, and honestly, I think they should have tweaked it, had it some sort of ability to make it a little bit easier, because man, this game is a slog to get through. It really is super challenging. But I will say, like I said, the level designs were really cool. I did like the way the weapons with the charge abilities. I love the enemy designs, and like I said, the overall package of this is a high quality game, and I can honestly say, good for you, Bloober team. Good for you. Other than the difficulty, this game is actually pretty dang impressive. Once again, they made a functional game that is actually impressive. Just work on making a story that's not so stupid and convoluted next time, and work on making a little bit easier difficulty. Maybe add some more options to people that aren't that good at playing super difficult games like this. But in the end, roughly when this first came out, they were charging full price of $60 for it, so it wasn't even a $70 game at launch. And currently, you can get some really good deals on this game. I've seen it for $30, $40, and you can even get a Steam version for only $10. Now, at that point in price, for a game that's 15 to 20 hours long, as long as you can get used to the insane difficulty and where you fight these enemies as you go through this adventure, and as long as you're not really die hard set on trying to really figure out this plot, because you can figure it out, but man, it's so sporadically, underwhelming, this plot really is. But I just can't get over the fact that the main character you play as looks like if you took a Dead Space character and combined it with a Big Daddy from BioShock. With the big helmet and the little spikes that stick out of it. Yeah, I that's just my personal feeling on it. But in the end, can I recommend Cronos: The New Dawn? Yes, I can, especially at its current price point. And being so cheap, it's definitely something I could say, go ahead and pick up and play today. Just be aware of the insane difficulty of this game and the damn enemies and the limited amount of ammo that you have, and you should have a good time with this game. This was Nate, aka Devil Dog, and I want to thank each and every single one of you for watching this video. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Leave lots of comments below. And of course, here at Devil Dog Gaming, we always end our videos by saying, have fun, play hard, and remember, people, the devil is in the details. Peace out until next time.